One of the great things about Old Western culture as a literature course is that it's different in a number of ways. There's at least four that are important. The first has to do with the time period, and this relates to the title of Old Western culture that C.S. Lewis gave in a lecture when he took the chair of medieval and Renaissance literature in Cambridge. And C.S. Lewis talked about the fact that during this period of time that we're studying here in Old Western culture, that pagans and Christians had more in common with each other than, say, the modern man had in common with either one of them. And the key here to the commonality has to do with a vision for the human being and for what reality looks like. In the modern world, reality is reduced to materialism, but in Old Western culture, whether you were pagan or Christian, you believed that there was an incorporeal soul, you believed that there was a metaphysical reality, so there was mystery, and so man was worshipful. And it doesn't mean that they were always worshipful in the right direction, but they were worshipful. In the modern culture, man is not worshipful by and large. And so this is very unique in that we're focused on a period of time specifically where man centers his life out of worship. Another reason that Old Western culture is not like any ordinary literature class has to do with integrated humanities. So we're not just studying literature, but we're studying literature that has to do with history, has to do with theology, has to do with philosophy. And so when these are all integrated together, we're entering into the great conversation, reading primary sources that are going to help the student get a broader worldview picture of Old Western culture. A third reason has to do with the slowness of reading and the depth of primary sources. And I mentioned that a little bit in the second point, but students are going to read primary sources. They're not just going to read textbooks. And along with these primary sources, they're going to get some remarkable lectures from Wes Callahan and Chris Schlecht and others who are participating in providing some really remarkable insights to this Old Western culture. And so they're going to get this experience as well. And the fourth reason that I think Old Western culture is different than any other literature class has to do with the interaction that we have in our recitations and our writing. Ambrose Bierce famously noted that good writing is clear thinking made visible. And so there's a correlation between writing and thinking, and so we're going to be doing both in this literature class or this Old Western culture class. And this is what makes Old Western culture distinctly different than the typical literature class that you might think of.